I'm so outstanding. I'm so outstanding. I'm so outstanding. I'm so outstanding. I am the stars and the planets, and I am the one who began it. I am the first in commandment, and I am the last one standing. I'm so outstanding. I'm so outstanding. I'm so outstanding. I'm so outstanding. I am the stars and the planets, and I am the one who began it. I am the first in commandment, and I am the last one standing.
Welcome everybody to the Aquarius season planetary forecast. Let me know if you can hear me, if you cannot hear me, so on and so forth. So what I do is I go over the Aquarius season energy as a whole on different levels. And just because you're not an Aquarius doesn't mean that this doesn't apply to you. It applies to everyone because it's where the sun energy is right now. So this is basically the energy that the sun is emanating. I guess that's a good word for it, emanating. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to cover the season from a number of different standpoints, religious practices, so on and so forth. So I go through the letters, I go through the Kabbalah, Christianity, and so on and so forth, and I explain, what it means for all of us, regardless of what your sign is under the Aquarius sun. And then after I get done going over the sun energy, have a powerful day, Tim. Thank you so much. After I finish going over all of that energy, what I do is I go over where each planet is during the Aquarius season, as we are already well within almost a whole week of Aquarius season, which is really exciting. We had a really exciting Leo wolf moon. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I'm a Leo ascendant, so I felt very energized and powerful and ready to go out into the world. And then we came into a Virgo moon right after, which is awesome because I'm a Virgo. My sun, moon, Mercury, and Venus are on Virgo, so I'm still on 1,000 right now. That's been going on, and that's just a snippet of what I get into when I talk about the planets and the placement of the planets and the electromagnetic energy that placement creates onto us. And then I make nice little parallels so you can get a better understanding of how we are already aligned and we don't even realize it. So that's fun. So let's get started. My throat has been dry for a few days, and so apologies ahead of time. If you can't hear me, let me know. It's very helpful to just let me know. So we can get started we have another thing coming up in addition to it being Aquarius season. We have the Chinese New Year coming up, and we'll get into that as we are exiting the metal rat, the water rat. And that was a fun year, right? Like the metal rat is all about investing into health and science and biotechnology. And wasn't it a good year to do all of that? And we can talk about the planet placement with what's been going on with GameStop. I'm so excited. Time out. Rewind. Let's talk about Aquarius season for a second. So Aquarius season started January 20th or January 19th. According to the sun, it was January 19th. And it's going on till February 18th. But it seems like it's only going on to the 19th, 20th. That's what it's looking like. It's all about what the sun is doing. We can have the set dates in our mind about what it is, but it really is like whatever the sun is doing, how fast it decides to move that day, and so on and so forth. It's not up to us and what we're used to. So that's something you guys gotta let go of too. Moving on. So this is an air sign. Aquarius energy is rational and social and loves communication, as well as relationships. Aquarius is represented by a water carrier that symbolizes one to give life and spiritual food to the world. The water is supposed to wash away the past. Aquarius energy, they're very independent. They don't build relationships quickly or easily. You gotta think about like air energy, like you can't catch it. You can't catch it, can't put it in the bottle, you can't hold it. It's that kind of energy. It does what it wants to do. And even though you can't see it, you do believe it's there because it does give life. As well as, you know, when it wants to go ham, what do we get? We get tornadoes, you get these windstorms. They help make hurricanes, they help make fires, they help make things out of thousand, they help, you know, all those things occur. So even though we can't see it and touch it and hold it, it's something that we do know is there, and it is giving us life, and we can trust it and rely on it to do that such thing. And we can also trust it and rely on it to, you know, destruct if it has to. And so that is the energy of the Aquarius energy. And because it can't be touched and held and grabbed, it is considered rebellious. Because it embraces all things. That energy is also social and about coming together and just providing that life force, that orgone energy. And that's what the kind of energy you get in Aquarius season. And we see that happening. I can't wait until I get into the planets with y'all, but we're going to get through this Aquarius energy. A good stone for this season is Garnet. Garnet is a symbol of love and compassion, trust and purity. The stone is known for creating success in business, and it's supposed to help build business popularity. You place it under your pillow to help with depression. I know a lot of people, I've had someone spoke on dealing with seasonal depression, and I thought that was so powerful, because a lot of us deal with seasonal depression, especially when the season initially changes and you are in that initial transition of being able to go outside and dealing with the fall energy and the fall temperament of the weather and the environment, and then coming straight into, okay, now you're like in the house, and now we're really, really secluded, right? Because we're dealing with COVID on top of the weather changing. So, you know, it was very powerful that someone, you know, stood in front of a bunch of people and said, yeah, I've been dealing with seasonal depression, because a lot of us do it, whether for a day, a week, a month, whatever, so have you. So Garnet is a good stone for that. Also, pine is a good plant for that, to have aromatherapy, oil, as an instant and things like that, to open up. It's good for like mucus and respiratory things, but also very well for depression, bringing up that mood. I also like to put orange. I use orange all times this season, but I especially like to use orange in the wintertime because it is a nice reminder in my home of like, wake up. So I use that all year round. I don't know if that's okay or not, but I do it. Anyway, moving on. Garnet is also good to keep when you wake up with exhaustion. For those of you who wake up feeling like really groggy and like to lay around for a while and stuff like that, this is definitely good for that as well. Silver is a good metal for this time. Silver detoxifies the body and helps with circulation, which is very good during this time, whereas we become very like sluggish and want to stay in the house and sit still. So to have silver in this time is pretty cool. It removes negative energy from the body and also attracts positive energy. Silver also promotes good luck and wards off evil spirits, and also aids with speech and communication. Also helps energize other stones during the full and the new moons, and enhances powers of the moon. So the silver is good to have during this time. Other stones I have during this time that are great are also fluorite, azurite, and lapis lazuli. So we're dealing with a lot of throat chakra stones during this time. And under its influence, it can make some outgoing, and others want isolation during this time. So you want to look at where you may have Aquarius energy in your chart, what planet you have Aquarius energy in your chart, or what house is being ruled by Aquarius energy in your chart, and that will coincide with what the sun is doing, where the sun is amplifying what areas in your chart. So that's how you kind of get like your monthly horoscope as far as what to focus on, what will be enhanced during this time, what will be most abundant in your life during this time is where Aquarius energy is in your chart. So if you need help with natal charts, I do natal chart readings. You can go on my website, letnobodiescollection.com, and I'll do that for you. Got you. So yeah, this is the planet. Oh, okay, so yeah, that's what I have on my initial notes on Aquarius season. I've been reading books for years, and I just write notes on all the books I've read over the years, and it's fun because now I have my own little textbook with my works cited and all that fun stuff. I feel like it's fun making my own textbooks, guys. It's fun. So yeah, coming back to Aquarius season, the water carrier giving life and spiritual food to the world, and we talked about air and things of those things. Aquarius energy is also fixed, which is a dedicated energy and committed. Also reliable, like we talked about the air. You can rely on it to be there, but it's also stubborn. You know, if the air wants to go one way, it's going to go that way. You can't really push it another way, right? Because you can't hold it, you can't contain it, you can't control it, right? So it's stubborn and can be fixated on one thing. So look at where Aquarius energy is in your chart if you have any. And then that area, you know, look at those areas of your life. Air, again, Aquarius energy is also an air sign along with Gemini and Libra. Air energy is intellectual and factual, has a true sense of self, going to mental challenges, and brings new concepts that will bring the world to a higher consciousness. Also a sense of curiosity. Time to be swept into a new adventure during this time, regardless of what your sun energy is. So if you find yourself falling into a new adventure and things, especially as we get ready for the new year with Aries season, yay. Or the Chinese New Year, whichever one you fall into. Yeah, so, you know, if you find yourself, you know, attracting a new adventure, definitely go for it and see where it takes you. Because Aquarius energy is all about, like, that big expansion. It's all about air and just being swept up, right? When you get into the tarot energy, right, the Fool card is associated with Aquarius season. The Fool card is all about new beginnings and ventures and also changes in your life. The Magician card is also associated with this energy. The Magician card is about getting plans done in an order, not order, we already did order, but getting plans executed, right? Then actually, like, now we're in it and we're moving around in it and we're doing it. It's executed. Plans are being executed in this space and time. And all respects of life is being organized, has been organized. And, you know, it's just the motion talking about, like, the cycle of Aquarius season. Aventurine is another stone. It's a heart chakra stone. Also a good stone for chance and luck. Tin is also a good metal, and that's a great metal of abundance and prosperity, growth, success, healing, concentration, and also a great antibacterial agent. See, all metals have their destiny. That's a quote from The Alchemist. It's not just one metal, you know, and not just one stone. But we love copper and we love gold and silver and those things. All metals have their benefits, so it's good to learn about all of them. And if you want to learn about all of them, you can go on my website, Let'sNobodiesCollection.com. I have a blog page where I actually address the different kind of metals and their benefits. So check that out. Anyway, moving on. Mika is also a good element during this time, and this protects against negative energy. It balances earth energies, and it's good to have during earthquakes. It helps keep peace and shields co-workers from personal affairs. So, like, if you're in a workspace, it helps keep your, like, work and personal separate. And it also helps with insomnia, concentration, memory, and stamina, especially during this time. As I said, we're coming out of being in that hibernation mode mentally and physically, and we're starting to feel like that little bit of inkling, like, oh, it's time to go outside and things like that, but it's still like fighting that, like, you know, that desire to still be inside a little bit. So this is kind of helps facilitate that process of getting your energy back up to go back out and get ready for the spring and summer and all that stuff. Again, we come back to fluoride, which absorbs and neutralizes negative frequencies, and it also helps increase concentration as well as cell regeneration and helps with respiratory issues. So fluoride is a good stone to have. I do have some items on my website with fluoride in it, Let'sNobodiesCollection.com. Pewter is also a good element to have during this time. Pewter is a combo of tin and antimony, which brings wisdom, transformation, awareness, appreciation, and it also has copper in it, which helps with healing, luck, and love. And sometimes it has bismuth in it, which creates opposing magnetic field to existing fields. So if you're in a space where it has like a very like heavy electromagnetic field that you're not really feeling, this element helps, like, you know, transform that for you. And it also helps with astral projection and digestion. So pewter is a nice little combination of metals to have. An alloy, the alloy is also good, and it's a metallic substance with two elements as either a compound or a solution. And elements are usually metals. So that's what Peter is. It's a combination of all of these. Saturn is the planet of the season. Saturn is the law enforcer of the cosmos. As we're coming out of that docile, like going inward energy, and we go into the outward energy, it's actually like two planets that rule the Aquarius energy as we go in and out. So we're inward, we're starting off the energy, we're still in Capricorn, under the Capricorn planet with the Aquarius energy. And we start off with the law enforcer of the cosmos that brings karma and discipline, and also serves as a teacher as it inspires one to reflect on their lessons throughout the year, and also learning to identify and problem solve through their restrictions, as well as their masculine energy and exercise. And it also brings out that extroverted and projected energy and focuses on the physical aspects of the seventh planet. Saturday is associated with Saturn, so Saturday is definitely a great day to tap into that Aquarius energy at the beginning of the season, like the first couple of weeks. Like Saturday, this past Saturday was probably like a great day for everybody with Aquarius energy. This Saturday coming up is probably going to be another great day. Hematite is a good stone for Saturday. Hematite improves relationships, increases intuition, and helps with iron absorption and healing testing. So if you have issues with iron, hematite is the stone to go. Apache tier, jet, obsidian, onyx. We're dealing with black stones, which deals with negative energy protection and grounding. Also dealing with patchouli. Patchouli is a good herb to have during this time in scent, tincture. It helps with pain relief. It's also antibacterial, antifungal, also a great insecticide. So keep that in mind during the summertime, and also helps with weight loss. Having salt during this time is great. It helps cleanse and heal and balances energy. So taking salt baths, placing your stones into salt, just having salt in your energy, salt lamps and things like that. It's very good to have during this time. The World card on Saturday, that is the card for Saturday. And upright is a stage of completion or fulfillment has arrived. It is time for celebration of closed chapter and make room for another to be open. And in reverse, some chapters or projects are delayed, they are past their due date as other happenings arrive, and it may cause inconveniences. So that is how you begin Aquarius season being ruled by Saturn. And as we go on, we end Aquarius season being ruled by Uranus. And Uranus is the seventh planet. It breaks up the limitations created by the cycles of the seven, right? Not the seven, it's the eight. And it breaks up the limitations created by the cycle of 7 because we have 7 days of the week, and everything stays in like transformations and cycles of 7. So like this was like, all right, we out of here. So this is the planet of rebellion. So this is the planet that elevates the consciousness beyond the 7th limitation, and it brings times of new knowledge and inventions in humanity, and the need to help understand and support others, revolution, transformations, and cooperation. In addition to that, Uranus stays in a sign for about 7 years. It rules the clairvoyant senses, your nervous system, especially the thyroid and the pituitary glands. So if you want to focus on your thyroid or pituitary gland, if you want to focus on your clairvoyant system, you definitely want to tap into what zodiac energy Uranus is on your chart to see what works for you, where energy, because a lot of people come to me and they're like, where do I start on my journey and things like that, and I try to tell them to like start on their own. But if you definitely want to start on your natal chart, if you start on your Uranus planet and you get into your Neptune planet, and you go from there, Pluto and Lilith, when you're ready to do your shadow work, you tap into your Lilith and your Capricorn energy, and so on and so forth. Again, I can help you do your natal chart and things like that, unless somebody's collection. But moving on. So Uranus is made of water, methane, and ammonia fluids, and with an atmosphere of hydrogen and helium. The methane makes it blue, and that's why Uranus is a blue planet. It is also an ice giant, and it spins on its side in opposite directions, which makes it like such a rebellious planet. And that is the fun facts about Uranus. And because Uranus takes about 7 years to go through a zodiac energy, what is that? about 84 years for it to make a full circle around your life, and that's fun. That's a nice little tidbit for the people that like usually like go into their next life in their 80s. Anyway, getting into the tarot energy, the Fool card is associated with Uranus, and upright urges want to let go of the things that hold them back and make room for new things and changes. In terms of an individual, this card symbolizes one with optimism, spontaneity, and lightheartedness. This person can either be enjoyable for their energy or annoying due to their lack of ability to be serious. And if you pull this card in reverse, this deals with innocence and enjoyment is lost and replaced with paranoia and fear. This person is a worrier and extremely cautious. They might be fighting within to be free and may be hard to pin down. This card warns against taking any risks, and the risks may be too high. So that's what it is for the tarot, for the Uranus energy. Amazonite is a good stone to have for Uranus, and it deals with balance, feminine and masculine energies. It promotes kindness and practicality, and it's a good stone for artists and men. So for those of you who are like, dang, where do I get a a stone? Yeah, where do I get a stone for Uranus? You can get that on lessnobodiescollection.com. Moving on, the number 4 is associated with Aquarius energy. In tarot, the number 4 is associated with stability and strength as we deal with the 4 corners, right? And this is the first square number that we deal with. In spirituality, 4 connects the body and spirit with the physical world of structure and organization. So again, we come back to the 4 corners. When you arrive to the cycle of 444, you see the repetition of the 444 numbers. This is a message of responsibility and practicality, honesty and wisdom. It encourages one to work harmoniously and intently to reach their goals and turn their dreams into reality. In terms of the Bible, the number 4 deals with on the 40th day, God separated night and day and darkness from light. So again, dealing with that balance, that stability. That's fun. That's a nice association, right? And dealing with the netters, as we'll get into netter in a minute. 4 is the number of manifestation, the realization that all things are modifications of one being, the ruling principle of existence. Also dealing with the cycle in terms of creation. Number 4 deals with the sphere. 4 deals with the designs of various species taking place. And seat of man's spirit. Sphere 4 deals with man's intuitive sense of law and order. The understanding that all is one and how one's actions affects others. And we live in a society that does not give us the freedom over our bodies to do well, but to destroy. And this is part of immorality. And unification brings order. So we definitely do live in a society that does not give us the freedom to treat our bodies better and treat society better and treat the environment better. But we are given the freedom to do worse, and that's why we think we're free, and we have become more negative beings. But if we do become more in order with the stability, the 4 corners of life and things and so on and so forth, we definitely will bring order back. And bring more freedom back to doing better for ourselves, which is great. I see some people aren't even allowed to have gardens on their lawns. You're not allowed to give things to homeless people. You're not allowed to just volunteer to be a good citizen. You usually get in trouble for doing things like that. But it's up to us to change that narrative. We are the ones that are enforcing that law, so we are the ones that can reverse it. Or rebel harmoniously, and that's fun. I like a good harmonious rebellion. In terms of meditation, when we're talking about the netter sphere, 4 deals with the waking trance, sharing accomplishments with others regardless of differences, and remaining optimistic even during setbacks. That's definitely a good energy. As I started Aquarius energy, feeling insecure about my setbacks. And I'm coming outside of that insecurity now on the other side, as I'm like, all right, give yourself a couple days to be upset about it. Now it's time to build what we finna do. So now we build it. So yeah, that's what Aquarius energy is dealing with. The colors during this time are blue, which is the color of wisdom, spirituality, faithfulness, loyalty, responsibility, respect, understanding, smooth flow of communication, inspiration, the throat chakra, as well as the sky and the heavens. And also dealing with the number 6, which is the number of creation. Silver is also another color for this season of Aquarius energy. And this deals with equilibrium with the feminine power and spiritual energy. It also deals with wealth and elegance. Gray is also another color, and this is also a lighter feminine energy, as it's not as metallic as silver is. And this deals with intelligence, neutrality, balance, and sometimes associated with depression, as some of us are coming out of seasonal depression, finally getting the energy to fight it and dealing with the earthquake that comes about with that. Green is a color associated with Aquarius energy as well, as we come out of the winter, as we all cross our fingers for Groundhog's Day for tomorrow. We're coming into the energy of fertility, right? And hope and happiness and change and nature and friendship and peace as we get into the end of Aquarius season and things start to melt and the energy starts to warm up and we get into the next season, right? Green also is associated with harmony and freedom of that rebellious, can't catch that air energy, as well as empathy and adaptation and cure the ailments of the eyes in number 5, which deals with humanity. So if you want to cure them eyes, have green in your space, visually put them plants in your space, have a green room, eat your greens, all that fun stuff. And so when we deal with Neptune, going to page 263, where there is a time and place for everything. As you know, every time I do the readings, I always go to Netter towards the end. That means we're getting closer to the planetary forecast. The direction is the north. Excuse me. December 21st to February 5th. So again, the beginning of Aquarius season, we're still in the north. And from midnight to 3 a.m. are the spiritual times. And we're dealing with the energies of sector and next. The parasympathetic, which relaxes the body and slows many high energy functions, again coming out of that hibernation energy. The parasympathetic is at its extreme point, and the sympathetic, which is that intense physical activity and fight and flight, which we'll come into as we get into the spring energy and summer energy, has just been reborn. Again, coming into that earthquake as we're, starting to wake up and get ready. Like, it's about to be warm outside. You guys are getting into your resolutions of going out and losing weight and going to the gym and running outside. So you're starting to wake that energy up inside of yourself. So you are in non-REM, which is dreamless, low voltage brain waves, sleep or trance. And the focus of your consciousness as you sleep has returned to the subjective realm, which is the spiritual, mental, non-tangible realm. During the winter solstice, which was December 21st to the 25th, is the most important to the Nekbet faculty, which is the faculty regulating one's psychic equilibrium and connection to all things. So during that time was a time to do that. So I hope you guys had your meditation going on. I had a beautiful winter solstice time with a group of individuals just building a coven. and during those 4 days, one is expected to fast, meditate, and chant to energize decisions harvested during the autumnal equinox. And that's where a lot of us fail at, because we want to do Christmas dinners, and a lot of us are like eating more heavily, and that's not the time to do that. That was actually the time to fast and meditate. And I did that, and that's when I was already in the vibes of going vegan and things like that. So that just made it easier. And so after we get through that, coming more closely into Aquarius season, we move into the northeast, and that's from February 5th to March 21st. The most spiritual hours are from 3 a.m. to sunrise, which is probably about 7-ish, between 7 and 8 right now. And we're dealing with the energy of Het Heru. And pay attention to your dreams as you become moistened. and dreams begin to emerge as we, as the dew starts to set on us and things like that. They are signs of gestation of the beliefs you have accepted. To control your dreams and manifestations, go into mediumistic trance every night with what you wish to manifest, your personal will. With what you wish to manifest. Your personal will must be in harmony with your true self, otherwise you will have bad dreams. To interpret your dreams, review the emotions you accept throughout your life. So, think about how you're going throughout your day as you interpret, your dreams in the night. Your dreams are their true gestation or messages from your true self, deities, ancestors regarding the course of your life. So this is definitely a good time to tap into your dreams. Meditate before you go to bed and all that fun stuff. I'll definitely be practicing that. If you guys want to do a group meditation, some nights before we go to bed, we could do something like around 9 p.m. or something. That sounds fun. I'm with you. Yeah. So, in order to fully benefit from the cycles, like the things that I just went over in here, one must go to bed at 10 p.m. and rise with the sun without alarms. So one must also break fast after AM meditation and aerobics. So you're supposed to go to bed at 10 p.m. You're supposed to rise with the sun. You also break your fast after you meditate. So you wake up in the morning, you meditate, you do your aerobics, and then you eat. And then one's main meal should be about 2 p.m., which is when Mercury in Sebek is at its highest, and that's with invoking your intestines and your digestion. That's when that part of your body is at its peak. So that's the best time to start eating is at 2 p.m. And then avoid sleeping during the day unless you're not feeling well. Avoid exercising after sunset, and avoid concentrated sweets in the morning, and avoid bitters at night. Avoid excess fasting. Don't fast too much. Avoid excess sex, of course, and avoid excess eating, etc. There's a balance in everything. You know these things. And also the card correlated with this is the Magician card with the number 8, which is the infinity symbol, and also the number of justice and law, which is the order and the infrastructure that I just regurgitated towards you in terms of the letters. And juggling the 4 elements into equilibrium, which is hot and dry, your fire, and cold and moist, which is water, your cold and dry, which is earth, and your moist and hot, which is your air. You want to balance all that energy. And that is, in regards to the matter. What? Please stay aligned in that. And if you guys missed that part or want to read, I always post these videos on my YouTube page, Nobodies. So after I get done doing this and it downloads, I'll be sharing it off of my YouTube page and you guys can tap back in. And just go back over that and take notes so you guys can be aligned. Asar is the energy during this time of year, and this is the first sphere which deals with man, God, one, and unity. There are no planets associated with this time, and this energy also associated with all days of the week. The color during this energy is white, which is the color of purity, friendship, as well as mourning and innocence, perfection, spirituality, and morality, and also sun and moon, and the number 7, which we know is the heavenly number. The number 10 is associated with Asar, which deals with perfection, completion, return to unity, transformation, faith, and power. Also, memory and opposites. What to have in your bath during this time is basil, which is a good anti-inflammatory antioxidant. It also helps ease stress and anxiety, and it helps with your appetite if you've been having issues with that. Also good to have in your bath is tuberose as an oil, which is a good aphrodisiac. It's also good for blood circulation as we come out of this, parasympathetic realm, and also helps. It's also a good deodorant and a good sedative. White roses are good to have in your bath during the time, which brings balance and new beginnings, and also helps with skincare. Cotton leaves are good to have, which helps with nausea, fever, headache, nerve pain, bleeding, diarrhea, and also assists with renewal and revival. Marjoram is a good oil to have in your bath during this time. It's good for protection, prosperity, Often used in love and protection spells as well. Sage is also good. It enhances intuition, cleansing, reflection. It's also good for antibacterial, antifungal. Fennel is also good for cleansing, meditation, and psychic protection. Also, stephanotis, which is a symbol of happiness, good fortune, awareness, and ability to absorb sunlight and increase energy. Lotus is also good for oil to have during this time, and it's good for purity, self-regeneration, and rebirth. So that's good for your baths as well as oils. And incense during this time are myrrh, and myrrh is good mood lifter. It's also good for cleansing. It's also a good cleaning tool and good for your space and protection and breathing, and also good for hexes if that's your thing. Southernwood is also good to have during this time. Southernwood is good for protection. It's good for manhood and masculinity. And it's also good for keeping off insects. So keep that in mind during the summertime. Plant some southernwood in your backyard. It's a good natural insecticide. And also, getting back to Asar, this matter reminds us that identifying with the indwelling intelligence in thought and speech and action is the core of self-knowledge. So you have to go within the God in you to get that core of self-knowledge, which is essential for the individual's achievement of unity in their personal and social lives, as well as health and prosperity. You're reminded to renew your relationship with your true self. You may be in danger of becoming of the world and not in it. So you want to be mindful of that. You might find yourself in worldly places during this time, especially as you get swept up in the Aquarius air energy and start, taking on new adventures and new venues as you get ready for the Aries New Year. And so with that being said, you're going to find yourself being swept up in multiple energies, especially all my healers out there that are becoming aligned and really starting to do their healing. Please be mindful not to become, too much a part of the world and find yourself starting to bend and start to round your squares. Stay on your square during this time, especially as we get into what Neptune is doing in the zodiac energy. We'll get into the planetaries in a minute, but as we get into that, you're definitely going to want to stay on your square during this energy as you start to venture out into that area to get your healing on in those spaces, because they need us and we have to be out there. But we come from that place. A lot of us come from that space too, so it may be a little bit easier for some of us to get sucked back in it. I'll just say that. But there is a need to create balance, Also, you are also reminded that social unity is the greatest power and good in mankind. And we see that, right? Oh my gosh, so much. Especially with what's going on with GameStop. Asar is definitely bringing this. This is the netter's energy of Aquarius energy. This does not occur through the coming together of people. It results from the resolution of their differences into complementary and supplementary relationships. So, I remember growing up in school, we were taught about diversity and the importance of diversity and acceptance diversity or whatever, right? And so with that being said, we're supposed to be different. You're supposed to be you and I'm supposed to be me. I'm supposed to see who you are. I'm supposed to see your color. I'm supposed to see your culture. I'm supposed to see your heritage. I'm supposed to see how you claim yourself. And you're supposed to see that in me. And we're supposed to see that as a supplement to one another, right? A complement to one another. I always use the analogy a liver cell is a liver cell and a kidney cell is a kidney cell. We know the liver and the kidney cell is they both do the cleansing, they both work so hand in hand so well. But you will never see a liver cell go into a kidney cell and say, oh, we are the same, so I can be here too. Or vice versa. Otherwise, the body would die. And you also see them going to war about their differences, like your kidney cells, no, your liver cells, so I'm better than you because I cleanse this way, or I'm better, otherwise the body would die. And we have to see ourselves, we have to mirror ourselves as the cells that we wish to see in our bodies, in a sense, you know what I'm saying? So I like to think of it as the Russian doll. I don't know the correct term for it, but I think about osmosis Jones, the cells in our body. How do you want the cells in your body to act? Now you behave yourself in that manner. I want my cells to do what they need to do to make sure I stay alive. So what do we need to do? We need to do that too as a people to keep our community alive, to keep our environment alive. And when I say the environment, I don't mean the planet. It's not up to us to keep the planet alive. The planet's going to stay alive regardless. Let's not, let our egos get ahead of ourselves. It's our environment. We're going to murder ourselves, and the earth is going to continue to turn as it has turned despite what other species have gone extinct. You feel me? If our species goes extinct, the earth will adapt and still turn. So we have to be mindful of our environment. So yeah, coming back into Asar. Asar is also associated with the Shango Orisha, and Uranus is the planet of rebellion, unexpected events, and upheaval. Shango is the Orisha of thunder, lightning, and fire, along with Ogun and Oya. These fiery energies provided assertive and aggressive influences as Uranus was transiting Pluto. This has had influence on slavery, wars, the civil rights era, etc. So most of our rebellions and things of that nature have occurred during this time, because we tap into our Shango and Oya energy during this time, and that is so exciting. So exciting. Okay, so now we get into the Kabbalah. We're going to get into the Kabbalah, and then we're going to get into the metal ox, because we have the Chinese New Year coming during Aquarius season, and then we're going to get into what the planets are doing and what the moon is doing and what that means for us. So just giving you guys the program. So Shavat is Aquarius, and the month of Shavat correlates with the astrological sign of Aquarius, which is an air sign. This is the third of the air signs: Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Aquarius represents the left column of the three. Aquarius is ruled by 2 planets. Traditional astrology attributes control of this month to Saturn, and modern astrology has given credit to Uranus, discovered by astronomer William Herschel on March 13, 1781. Saturn, the 7th planet in the solar system, is the planet of judgment, order, responsibility, discipline, and laws. Uranus is the 8th planet in the solar system, the one that breaks the proximity and limitations of the 7, which we went back to 7 days, the 7th day, 7 colors, 7 notes, etc., etc. Uranus elevates us to a new consciousness and new concepts beyond limitation. This is why the age of Aquarius and the month of Aquarius are considered times of change. Both are times of new knowledge, inventions, humanity, the need to help, to understand, and to support the needy. The energy of Aquarius also connects to the air element, intellectualism, innovation, and new concepts that will bring the world to a higher level of consciousness. Aquarians are rebellious by nature because they constantly face with penetrating questions concerning their individuality, their uniqueness, and their identity. This is the reason they strive to break old boundaries. To Aquarians, the past is about a fleeting moment, and they disconnect from the past in order to find fresh and unfamiliar reality. A new truth to fit the new times. Uranus orbits the sun every 84 years, which explains the common phenomenon of the midlife crisis that plagues 40 to 42-year-olds. It actually is a case of Aquarius-itis when we begin to question our life's purpose and make plans for the next 40 years or so. Which is cool because, when we usually pass away at in our 80s, if not, our 100s, which is the planet above Neptune. But either or, whether it be Uranus or Neptune, both of those are planets of the beyond and the subconscious. So to pass away when those energies make their full circle is just cool. Anyway, Aquarians make excellent computer technicians, scientists, and social workers. They thrive during anything revolutionary, especially in tasks that carry the flag of social political revolution. The age of Aquarius. Kabbalists explain that the age of Aquarius began approximately 400 years ago, and is considered the age of revelation or the age of redemption. Why does Aquarius or Shavat, according to the Hebrew calendar, symbolize redemption? Because Aquarians perceive the world as unified, and Kabbalists consider this to be the basis of true redemption. Redemption is when all negativity is cleansed, when humanity is free from evil and fragmentation. Because of their higher level of consciousness, Aquarians are directly linked to this redemptive movement. Aquarians are unique. They stand out in the crowd and cannot be ignored. They show great promise as children, and as adults, they are idealists who strive to change the universe with original ideas. They are rebels, and their concern is the well-being of humanity as the whole. They rebel against established ways of doing things, always looking to find new, better ways to solve world problems. So Aquarians seek justice for all. This is a global request and not a personal one. They support things that are grand and noble while they fail to be sensitive to those around them who are suffering. Aquarians often lack a sense of practicality, and they are passionately independent and private. Their desire for originality causes them to set themselves apart from the crowd, and despite their friendliness and open-mindedness, they are also most stubborn of all signs, as they are a fixed sign. They reject all established structures and fight to maintain their individuality and freedom in order to exercise their innovative ideas. They detest confinement of any sort. So that is the Kabbalah reading for Aquarian energy. And now we get into the Chinese New Year. So it came out of the metal rat energy, right? And the metal rat energy, we know the rat is all about like abundance, right? Because we know rats know how to multiply. If nothing else, they know how to multiply by like the hundreds, if not thousands of millions. So the rat is all about abundance and familial energy, right? And we dealt with a lot of that. A lot of us went inward as we dealt with our outer planets being in Capricorn energy for a full year and rebuilding our infrastructure and facing challenges and fears that we've had for ourselves as we unraveled a lot of generational curses. A lot of us have came into terms with different mental terms as far as the DSM is concerned. And a lot of us were able to take power over those terms instead of allowing those terms to take power over them. So very, very, very powerful movements happened during the metal rat as we were forced to go inward on so many levels as a community, as individuals, as families. During that time, it was a great time to invest in biotech and science and all that fun stuff. And so we did that. And so now we're dealing with the ox. The ox, the Chinese New Year is February 12th, 2021. The Chinese New Year is different because they go by the lunar transitions. There's about 29 and a half days from new moon to new moon. So with that being said, there's only about 354 days in a year for that Asian culture. There are other countries that also go by the lunar calendar, and so they have the same New Year. If you look at different countries in Africa, they have the same New Year. This is the second zodiac sign, as the rat is the first, because as you know the story, so the emperor had a party, right? And he was like, you guys are going to be put in the order that you arrive to the party. So the clever rat, which is why the rat is associated with wisdom and things of that nature, the rat just asked the ox for a ride. And once they arrived to the party, right before they got to the line to enter the party, the rat hopped off of the ox and entered the party first, which is why the rat is the first sign of the zodiac year. And that's why the rat is also associated with being clever. And the ox is the second zodiac sign. The ox is the earthly branch. Its hours are from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. in the morning. The ox is the yang energy. The ox is honest and earnest, low-key, and doesn't look for praise. They hide in their own talents but gain recognition through their hard work, and they think logically. The ox is weakest in communication and may not enjoy exchanging ideas because they are aware of said weakness. The ox is also associated with diligence and kindness and generosity, as we know in the story. The ox gave the ride, but the ox is also gullible, as the ox didn't see what the clever rat intentions were. The metal ox during this season may face obstacles early on. No financial worries, and friends and family are not much help, but may enjoy a comfortable retirement, and that is the reading for the metal ox. Men of this sign are reliable and trustworthy, great responsibility to family, confidence, as well as arrogance, and doesn't leave room for others to go against them. Hold children to high expectations, even if expectations are unrealistic. The women of this energy are calm and gentle. They never surrender to fate and rarely choose alternatives. This may lead to life struggles and think and react quickly. The most compatible to this energy are rats, snakes, and roosters, and the least are goat, horses, and dogs. I am a horse, so I am the least compatible. In terms of luck for the ox during this energy, and this applies to all of us, the colors blue, yellow, and green are the colors during this time. The number is 1 and the number is 4. Again, coming back to that first energy, that Asar energy of 1 and oneness, and coming back to the number 4 energy of stability, right? That is the energy of this time. The flowers, the plants during this time are lily of the valley. Oh, I love those flowers. And lucky bamboo, which ironically my girlfriend is currently planting through bananas, and it looks pretty cool. Like the bananas are sprouting through, the bamboo is like sprouting through the bananas. Pretty fucking cool. The most auspicious direction during this time is the east and the southeast, and the wealth direction during this time is the northwest. So think about that when you put certain stones in certain places on your altar, in your space, on your body. The love direction is the south. Unlucky colors during this time are red and brown. Don't do that. The numbers are 3 and 6. And careers during this time, as far as there's good job stability, long-term jobs, doctors, lawyers, businessmen, teachers during this time is a good career, stable career during this time. Also, good time to invest in businesses, businesses of education, businesses of health, and businesses of law during this time for the stocks. And y'all better listen, because wasn't I on the money last year for the metal red? So y'all better listen to these Chinese zodiacs, because they be on the money. I'm telling you. Yeah, so moving on. Now it's time to get into the planetary forecast, y'all. This is what everybody's been waiting on. We're going to talk about where the planets are at, what they're doing, and what does that mean for all of us. We're going to make a few parallels. And if y'all want to make some parallels in the comments, like, you know, if y'all want to share, like, some different ways that, you know, oh, this makes sense because, oh, yeah, that's what's up because, like, I'm all for it. Like, yeah, do that shit in the comments. Like, you know, I like comments. I like when people comment and participate. It's fun. And if you are commenting, then I can't see it, and I apologize. But yeah, so let's get into these planets. Hold on. Mercury. So the sun, we know, is in Aquarius, and it's also in the 6th house. The 6th house is Virgo house, and that's fun. So the Virgo house is all about your habits, your daily routine, and things of that nature. So, you know, you find that rebellious energy. The sun is putting that rebellious energy in your habits, in your daily routine, and how you organize and communicate and logic. So that's what the sun is doing in the 6th house. The sun moves into the 7th house on Valentine's Day, February 14th. And when moving into the 7th house, that's that balanced Libra energy. So the sun having that Aquarius rebellious energy moving into the 7th house, that's dealing with the energy of how one deals with their one-on-one relationships, their importance and perspective. Ooh, how powerful is that? You're going to find yourself, you know, if you're already in a relationship, it's not just romantic relationships, just any relationship in general on Valentine's Day, as the sun makes that earthquake transition to the 7th house, because, you know, planets don't move quietly. Sun and stars don't move quietly. They move in earthquake type energy. Ooh, hold on, because I'm cooking at the same time that I'm doing this with y'all. But, like, you know that it doesn't move in that energy quietly or peacefully. So with that being said, we're definitely going to have, you know, it moving from us, you know, changing our home and habits and our daily routine to us starting to look outward on our one-on-one relationships and how they've been, how our perspectives on them, how we've been looking at them, how we've been treating them, how we feel about them, and all of those things, how important they are to us. So, if you get that breakup text on the 14th or anytime afterwards, you know it's real. Up until, like, the sun exits Aquarius. Or you might just find yourself, like, you know, changing changing the energy of just transforming, you know, the dynamics of those relationships and things of that nature. And it's also a good time to secure some deals. So if you have some contracts in the works, if you have some opportunities, as we know, Aquarius is all about adventures and stuff like that. When the sun moves into the 7th house, it's definitely a good time to solidify those adventures, solidify those contracts and bonds and those like business ventures that you have going on. And then we know the sun will enter Pisces, the 7th house, on February 18th, 2021. So that's exciting. So, you know, Aquarius season is shortened a little bit this year. That's okay. Mercury rules your decision-making mind, right? Mercury rules how you communicate, how you teach, as well as how you learn. And right now, Mercury is also in Aquarius in the 6th house. So we have Mercury being aligned with the sun right now until the sun enters the 7th house. And again, Mercury dealing with that social rebellious energy, right? That energy of you find yourself, you know, being more rebellious in communication, starting to think different in your logic. And this is rooted in that Virgo energy of your daily routines and your habits and your mindset. So we have Mercury sitting in the Virgo house. We have that double like Mercurian energy going on. So like we've been seeing so many earthquakes in our logic. Just like making a parallel as above as so below, right? With the sun and Mercury sitting in that energy, because sun also deals with our ego, our confidence, because, you know, sun is just the center of all, right? So a lot of us have been like using our ego and playing around with the stock markets. A lot of us have been going forth and just like taking that leadership into that rebellious Aquarius energy and really investing in the stock markets. And what has that been doing? They've been helping GameStop and AMC, and a lot of businesses have been losing money. And that was a social movement, right? That was a nice, like, with a hurricane. You know, businesses have been, you know, doing like $1 billion bailouts. They're doing $1 billion bailouts right now because of this Aquarius energy, you know, that, you know, people are using. And what a beautiful parallel. The more I watch the news as I become aligned with the planets and stuff like that, it's just like, it's so dope. It's so dope. We're so aligned and we don't even know it. So yeah. And it's also bringing a lot of thoughts into question for those of you who are like in tune with Twitter and things like that. The responses to, you know, these group of rebellious individuals that really tap into that Aquarius energy, you know, doing these things. You see these people responding saying, well, why is it, you know, an issue of ethics or morality when a group of people do it versus when, you know, corporations have been doing it all this time, you know, and a lot of, you know, awareness being brought to light as corporations are going for the bailouts and doing different things to save themselves, and now, you know, bring a lot of their tactics to light and things like that. And that's exciting. That's pretty dope. So, you know, the sun and Mercury are definitely, you know, working together and bonding together, and it's bringing, you know, a lot of things. And this is in addition to all the other movements that we already have going on right now. Let's not lose sight and be so narrow-minded. You know, we have the things going on, bringing to light with the political realm. A lot of us are coming into light with the presidency and how I, for one, think it's asinine. When I turn off my phone and my computer and my TV, it doesn't really matter. You know, a lot of people are just like, you know, well, you know, really putting these people on the hot seat, you know, really holding other people accountable. And then you have, you know, the opposition side really fighting to keep the person that they want in office because they really feel true to what's going on. And it's just, it's interesting to see how all of those things are going to pan out, especially after, you know, Mars was in that Aries energy and we had the people flooding, you know, Capitol Hill, and we had that earthquake of Mars moving from Aries to Taurus energy and just the aftermath of all that. So, yeah, just, you know, seeing how all that's folding out, and all that is, you know, just making parallels from Mercury being in Aquarius in the 6th house. And so we're moving on. Mercury enters the 7th house on January 28th, as we're already about a week or so into Aquarius energy. And with Mercury entering the 7th house, we're diverting that rebellious social energy into the energy on how one is dealing with their one-on-one relationships. Again, we'll have Mercury and the Sun and, aligned with one another, again, being in the 7th house come Valentine's Day. And so you'll definitely find, your logic as well as your outer self. So, like, your one-on-one relationships, how you've been dealing with them, interacting them, some serious conversations are going to come to light. Oh, and then we begin our Mercury retrograde. Oh, we have begun our Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde began January 30th. The retrograde has begun. And then we'll be going back into the 6th house. We actually go back into the 6th house today, which is Mercury back into the 6th house in Aquarius. So we're back in alignment with the Sun and going back into that Virgo house energy as Mercury is in retrograde. And we'll be in retrograde well into the next season, into Pisces energy. More so because there's only about 28 days in February. So yeah, that's happening. We're in a retrograde. Venus rules your love and finances, and one is attracted to. Venus what has been in Aquarius, Capricorn in the 5th house. Venus with Capricorn in the 5th house may have felt the need to have like a certain kind of structure. You might find yourself having a certain level of structure and creating and facing certain restrictions and challenges, as well as transforming them, and how you have been obtaining love and maintaining said love and acknowledging that love and what it looks like to you, as well as your finances and what you seek pleasure in, because Venus is all about pleasure seeking and what you seek pleasure in and what pleasure looks like to you and things of that nature. So we have seen yourself, just facing fears and challenges in those areas of your life and overcoming them, especially if those of you who are very well aware of yourselves and have been tapping into that Mercury energy when Mercury was in Capricorn as well. So with it moving into the 6th house, we have Venus and Capricorn moving into that Virgo house energy of your daily habits and routines and things. So you find yourself applying certain structures and things like that to how you're achieving love and your wealth and your finances. And we see that, right? For those of you who have built your businesses, now you're like, all right, now it's time for me to build a structure, build a better routine, find a grounding, especially as a lot of you guys are expanding and preparing yourselves for the spring and summertime. We do find ourselves creating a certain structure for ourselves, delegating and creating a line of authority within our businesses and things of that nature. So it is coming into fruition starting today. We have a lot of things starting today, right? With Mercury entering the 6th house. Now we have Venus aligned with Mercury entering Aquarius in the 6th house. So that happened today. Mercury and Venus are now aligned with the Sun in Aquarius in the 6th house. So with your love and your self-confidence and what you find pleasure in, you're going to find yourself being more free about it, just tapping into that air energy. Definitely going to find yourself walking into some adventures, some things just like outside of what you would normally do or what you even thought that you would be doing. And that's really exciting. And it's going to apply to your daily routines. It's going to apply to your habits. It's going to apply to that Virgo house in your chart. So what you want to do is you want to look into your own natal chart where your Venus lies and where you see your Venus lies and what rules over your house. And then you see where we are at in today. And you just do the quick math. If you're like me, I'll give you an example. I don't know what house. I want to say that my Venus is in my 2nd house or in my 1st house. But I'll just give you an example. So my Venus is in Virgo, right? My Virgo energy is adaptable. It's a mutable energy, but it's still Earth, so it's a little stubborn. All about organization and logic and things of that nature. And we'll just say it's in my 1st house. My 1st house is my Leo house. So it's all about outwardness and leadership and it's being a center of attention. I love attention. So my Venus is probably in my 1st house because I love attention. But that's where my pleasure is. That's where my confidence is. My I seek pleasure and recognition. I love recognition and things like that. So, you know, with it being an Aquarius energy, you know, on an outside sense, in that rebellious social energy, I'm seeking attention in that space. I want to be social. I want to be in those social spaces. I want to be in those rebellious energy spaces, because my my Virgo energy says, well, not my Virgo energy, my ascending, my Leo house energy says, hey, you want to be in that on a daily basis. My daily routine is over that house. You want to be in those spaces. And then my Virgo says, but you want to organize in those spaces. You want to be of service to you. You want to help. So I have like a healing type energy in those spaces. And that's where my self-esteem is going to rely. And it's going to align with that Aquarius energy of just being adventurous and swept into the wind. So it might rub me the wrong way at first, because I'm an earth energy and I love to be grounded. So whatever is going to come from in my wealth right now is going to like push me outside of where I'm usually sitting at. So it's going to hit me like an earthquake. An earthquake is going to hit me. And when it comes to me, it's going to change up. It's going to be a transformation in you know, my self-esteem and my pleasure and my love and things like that. And so with that being said, like, that's how you can conduct your own horoscope. And that was just like a little insight. But yeah, we have the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all in alignment, and that started today with Aquarius in the 6th house. So I don't really watch the news, but if something happens on the news that's like somebody just doing something like really rebellious or out of the open or whatever, like you could just be like, oh, that's that Aquarius in the 6th house. Or you'll find yourself switching up your routine today in a major way. Yeah, so that's happening. Mars rules your animal instincts and your motivations, your energy, your desires, how you express your anger, what makes you angry, what makes you act, and how you direct your ambition, what that looks like, what ambition is to you, and all that fun stuff. So Mars had entered Taurus in the 9th house. We entered Taurus in the 9th house on January 6th, okay? And that's that reliable, stubborn, determined energy, also loyal and affectionate, also all about materials, right? We know Taurians love the pleasure seeking and that Venus, coming back to that Venus energy, pleasure seeking and materialism and self-pleasure and self-esteem and things like that. So you've definitely been driven towards like fulfilling what makes you feel good, right? And it's sitting in the 9th house energy, that Sagittarius energy of philosophy and higher education. And when planets transit through this house, it helps you begin studying a new topic or changing your perspective or your philosophy on things. So you find yourself motivated. Just feeling a motivated or desire to change, to switch up your philosophy on certain materialisms, right? Changing up your desire of what boosts your self-esteem, what's been giving you wealth, what does value look like you, what does tangible things look like to you, and things of that nature. So you find yourself, being directed towards that and feeling motivated towards switching that. And that's that Mars energy in Taurus directed towards your 9th house energy. And we move into the 10th house energy on Valentine's Day. So as the sun is shifting off into the 7th house on Valentine's Day, we'll have Mars shifting off into the 10th house. And the 10th house is like your apex house. It's the house that rules the height of your success and your public image and your professional aspirations and your career and your achievements. And when planets are transiting through this house, it encourages someone to make a change in their professional life. So around Valentine's Day, whatever you got going on in your professional life, it's going to switch up. And it's going to be super powerful because it's sitting in that Taurus energy that's all about materialism and values. And Taurus energy is pretty much directed towards how you get wealth and things like that. So, it's going to be abundant how that change occurs. And it's all right. You'll be all right. You'll be all right because the sun is going to bring balance in that Aquarius energy sun when that shift occurs. So yeah, that's what Valentine's Day is bringing thus far for you. So getting into Jupiter governs generosity, tolerance, law, religion, tradition. Also order and business, growth, wisdom and luck. So when you want to look in your chart of what'll bring you luck and what have you, definitely want to look at Jupiter and where like your wisdom is lied, as far as like where you'll be able to give wisdom and receive wisdom. Like my Jupiter is in Leo, so I give and receive wisdom when I'm in like that center of attention role. And it helps that I'm a Leo ascendant, so that's fun. So all that to say, Jupiter is in Aquarius in the 6th house. Jupiter will remain Jupiter and Saturn, both of these planets stay in the same zodiac energy for a full year. Usually what happens with Jupiter is it becomes aligned with other planets cross it, you may have a retrograde pop up and so on and so forth, or it may become, in conjunction or sextile, whatever, what have you, with other constellations and things, and that's what creates certain phenomena. But for the most part, Jupiter stays in the same energy for the year, and it will be in Aquarius in the 6th house. So we have the Sun, we have Mercury, we have Venus, and now we have Jupiter all sitting upon that airy, rebellious energy, that hard to capture energy of Aquarius, that social energy. So you're definitely going to feel yourself, and you're going to see it. You're going to see waves, hurricanes, tornadoes of social rebellion occurring during this month. And we've seen it start already. It started with, the Capitol Hill being rushed, and it brought so much conversation on biases and things of that nature. And then now we have, the thing with the stocks, and it's bringing another conversation of biases and, classism. And we're just going to keep seeing it. It's going to be a ripple effect, and the hurricanes are going to happen, and things are crumbling, and it's so beautiful. And we see, the child trafficking ring and the celebrity pedophilia ring, and all of those things still coming to light as we see the Tiny T.I. thing come to light with R. Kelly. And, honestly, when you find out something about someone that's so in the light and has so many close, people that they work with, it's hard to believe that they're a one-man band with their perversions, right? So you're going to see like the string, the links, all the links to the chain come out. And it's definitely going to come out as more and more stories. Because, some people are going to start tattling on each other, and some people are going to start tattling on themselves as they start to feel themselves going downward in that motion. So, the Aquarius energy in the 6th house is definitely coming out. And it's changing how we all conduct ourselves on a daily routine, a daily schedule. You're starting to view people differently that you've seen in a different light on a daily basis, and it changed the way you move, the places you go, how you support different individuals, and so on and so forth. So it's happening, and it's a ripple effect, and it's like so awesome to watch Aquarius in the 6th house just do its thing. And when Pisces comes, when our healers start to come out and conduct the healing that these hurricanes and tornadoes are going into, I gotta stop. I'm always like 5 different directions, 30 steps ahead. I don't know, I'm a Virgo, and that's how I move, but like, it's just so exciting. Like, we're just so aligned. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, so Jupiter is in Aquarius in 6th house, so your wisdom is going to come from that energy. Your wisdom is going to come into you tapping into that adventurous energy. So those adventures, those things that, life is calling out for you to do, those opportunities that are going to be coming out, you definitely want to tap into those and just go with it. Expanded abundance is definitely among us. Just moving on to Saturn. Saturn rules restrictions and boundaries, your depression, self-discipline, how one may distance themselves. It also rules how one may be restraining themselves and their fears as well as their challenges. And Saturn is also aligned with the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter as well, and it's sitting in that Aquarius 6th house energy. Saturn is also another planet that moves in December every year. So we won't see much movement outside of them switching their houses, maybe going in retrograde or being in alignment with other energies and constellations. So again, your restrictions, just sitting in that rebellious social energy of Aquarius, and we see that people are going against the grain. The revolution is happening. People are going against, the laws of quarantine, of, vaccinations. We're, looking at, Bill Gates and actually seeing his title of being population control a whole lot different than we once did. We find ourselves, just really paying attention to things. A lot of us are starting to challenge the rules and regulations and authority, which is beautiful. A lot of us are, not just on a government sense, not just on an international or a national sense, but also in our families, right? Breaking generational curses, looking at upper generations within our families differently and rebelling against certain laws and rules and regulations and seeing them like, wow, this is really toxic. Also in our work, in our businesses, some of us have been working in these jobs for so long, we've turned blind eyes to things for so long and we just can't do it anymore. It's not working anymore. So, we're becoming rebellious and expansive in our rebellion in that sense, as well as if you guys are self-employed, your business-to-business relationships, your business-to-customer relationship, just everything, the restrictions and boundaries we've created for ourselves. I see a lot of people just going outward a whole lot more, broadcasting, coming out of their shell and, marketing themselves and marketing their businesses differently, networking, just coming out, and that's beautiful. And that's what, like, this beautiful alignment of the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter and Saturn is just like calling for us to do, and it's just so great. So we're just going to go into Uranus. Uranus governs our individuality, our progressiveness, our change, the force that makes one do things in a new way or face truth about their ways. This is the energy that shakes you and says, hey, pay attention. You can't keep ignoring what's going on anymore. And so that's what Uranus is doing. And Uranus is also in Taurus in the 9th house, along with Mars, which is that ambition-driven energy, desire, motivational energy. So you just feel this fired up energy about switching up what you see as wealth, what you have seen as valuable. And we're not just talking about currency. We're not just talking about money. We're talking about just things in general, things that have been on your totem pole of like have to aspire to be these things and have these things to be deemed as successful, right? All of those things are being switched up as Uranus is being powered and energized by Mars and just saying, all right, this Taurus energy needs to switch it up. Y'all need to switch up how y'all love each other. Y'all need to switch up how y'all love yourselves, how y'all love, community, the earth, the environment, whatever. Y'all need to, because if y'all don't, COVID is happening to switch it up for you. The government laws and regulations, to those of you who are weak-minded to fall to it, it's going to happen for you. The way the food is changing, it's going to happen for you. The way, the earth and animals are changing, it's going to happen for you. Society is changing, it's happening for you. So, Uranus is definitely like pushing and pulling. If you don't change, you're going to go with the flow of the mainstream and where they're going, and that's still a change. Or you're going to pull yourself all the way out, and that's a change, or middle way out. Everything is a change, no matter what. It's still going to tap into that Uranus energy. It's just a matter of what it looks like for you. That's all. And it's sitting in that 9th house energy that we spoke on. That's about, philosophy and higher education and just changing your perspective. That Sagittarius house energy. So moving into Neptune. Neptune rules your subconscious, your dreams, your healing, what healing looks like to you, how do you heal, your inspirations and your psychic sensitivity. This is the dimension of life that cannot be experienced by the 5 senses. And we started off with Neptune and Pisces in the 7th house. And Neptune has been in Pisces in the 7th house since February 4th, 2012. It will remain in this energy until January 26, 2026. So we'll be dealing with Neptune and this Pisces energy for a few more years to go. And Pisces energy is intuitive and sensitive and inspirational, as well as gullible and impressionable, right? We think about like the fish that always go with the flow of things, but they can be so go with the flow of things they can easily keep eating, not paying attention, or just like making it seem as if something is a flow, but it's really a flow to the doom. And you just want to be mindful of that. As we see, as above, so below. Melanated people are always being watched. People in general are always being watched, but melanated people especially, we are the most soulful. So when we collectively do things, we create a wave, a soul wave, a solar wave, because we're not just spiritual beings, whereas other beings are spiritual and mankind. We are more soulful, and and it's recognized in a lot of different people. People word it, differently. I'm trying to be politically correct here as much as I can. But we're more soulful beings, so when we do things as a unit, we create a larger wave. And so we are definitely being watched a lot, and we are, of course, being aligned and tapping into this Neptune and Pisces energy and becoming more spiritual, intuitive, and things of that nature. And it's tapping into that 7th house of our one-on-one relationships and their importance and our perspectives on different things. And it's changing, our priorities in our relationships and how we're going about those things, right? So with that being said, because we're being watched, a lot of people are preying on these things. Oh, we see you being spiritual. Oh, vote for me because I'm spiritual and I share your culture of spirituality and I know what you're talking about. Or buy my product because I'm spiritual. Or invest in me because I'm spiritual. Or go this route or do this and do that because it's spiritual. We had fell into that years or so ago, when Pisces initially entered. When Neptune initially entered Pisces, that's when we first started doing the DNA 23andMe thing. And that was the first step into that. We also fell into that when it came into you guys really need a sense of self and need a self of home. All right, well, invest into this company, invest into this land, invest into this government, invest into these things. And that was a play on everyone's desire to have a sense of roots and a sense of home. And that was something that us melanated people were doing as a collective trying to find a root. And now we're collectively finding spirit. And so be mindful of the things that are going to prey and play on that. So Neptune enters the 8th house January 22nd, 2021. And we move out of that one-on-one relationship energy and we move into that Scorpio energy that deals with sex and death and rebirth and transformation, as well as power and secrets. So we have, you're definitely going to have a lot of dreams, a lot of healing is going to be rooted into focusing on necessary transformations. Definitely time for the shadow work, especially with Neptune and Pisces sitting in that house of transformation and death and rebirth. Time for the shadow work. Definitely secrets coming out, and in terms of intuition and that spirituality and things like that. And it's going to be funny how it's being presented to you. It's going to be funny how it's being presented to you. So the information that you find on the outward sense, definitely, if you haven't watched the beginning of this video, it will be on YouTube when I finish it. Tap into that Asar energy that I spoke on earlier that calls you to align your indwelling consciousness with your outward self, because the information is going to be given to you on some nonchalant, we've already seen that. Once again, FBI and CIA documents are being released. Like, we do this once every 10 years, and they act like it's brand new information, but they bring it to you so nonchalantly and so in such a way that it can be either easily dismissed or ridiculed or whatever, or oh yeah, you should have been knew this kind of stuff. So just interpret things with discernment, because like I said, we're always being watched. And we're being watched with intentions of others being in control. So they're going to say, oh, these people are getting smart in this area. So we need to give them some information that feeds them what they think they already know, but puts them in a direction that we need them to be. And so if you're tap into where Neptune is on your chart, so you can be mindful of where your subconscious and your healing and inspirations and psychic sensitivity lies. Because with Pisces moving in a little bit of an impressionable type energy, it's going to be people that look at you and say, oh, I know, I've been watching you for a minute, I see you like XYZ, this is where your Neptune is, you all about herbs and stuff, so I'm going to come to you and sell you this and make you think XYZ, and it's really not that, or it might really be that. Just want to use discernment, and that's what I have for your Neptune. Moving on. I need some tea. Pluto rules over death and rebirth, destruction and healing, power and secrets, and how one will transform. And Pluto is in Capricorn in the 5th house. It has been in this energy since January 26, 2008. That is when Obama came into office. And it was funny because it's like destruction and healing. And Capricorn is like all about infrastructure and challenges and restrictions and law. It's like that RoboCop energy. So you have like this transformational energy inside of that RoboCop energy when Obama came in office. And it was like, that was a nice little parallel. I see what you did there, universe. And it's in the 5th house, which is like the house of like, it's the Leo house. So it's the house of like confidence and tapping into like the childlike energy, and a lot of people did tap into their childlike energy seeing Obama in office, like, oh my god, like I always dreamed of this, it was so crazy, like. And then it was like a confidence energy because people was going outward, like my president is black, like, you know, despite how you feel about it now in hindsight, you know, a lot of us feel about it differently, but like, you know, just in that moment, just thinking about January 26, 2008, step into the time capsule with me, if you will. That was my first time voting, and I voted for a black president. Like, and it was cool for me. I felt like I was grown up. I don't feel that way now, but it is what it is. But like, that's cool, right? So Pluto will remain. Pluto will remain in this energy until January 20th, 2024. So at the end of this presidential reign, when the next president enters, it will literally be inauguration day. I think it's the 20th. It's usually the 20th, right? So it literally will be on that day when Pluto exits Capricorn energy, and that's interesting because Pluto deals with power and secrets, and ever since like Obama, I mean, secrets and stuff were always out, but like just like being in alignment with myself, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but like when Obama came in office, like a lot of things like came out to light, like, you know, people started paying more attention to the power line and companies and corporations that sat on Congress, because Congress was really fighting against the president, and people became more in tune with the power line with racism and how much the KKK really invests in politics and corporations, and the people we go to food shop and own Walmart and ShopRite and things, and we got into the redlining, how redlining still exists, and the things with the loans, bank loans and housing loans, and you know, all that stuff came into light. You know, that's when, you know, NASA, the CIA, it was on ESPN for a whole week. They had a whole week session on aliens and extraterrestrials, and the government actually pretending to be extraterrestrials at one point in time to experiment on people and get away with it. Like, it was just like a whole thing. The Clintons, information about the Clintons came out. Alex Jones was like on 1,000 in 2008. Like, Michael Moore was on like 1 million in 2008. There was just so many things happening, and then like Trump came into office, and that just unraveled even more things like sexual predators, the child trafficking, more on like the Clintons and underground living, and nobody noticed the past 4 years we were not at war at all. Just all these different things it brought like to the Obama administration and the administrations beforehand. Like, you know, Pluto has definitely been doing its thing in Capricorn energy, and not just on a governmental, national, international sense, but also on a societal sense. A lot of us are coming to terms with things that we always practiced on a romantic level, in our romantic relationships and our relationships with our children, with our parents and our elders, with our ancestors, with our lineage, with our cousins, with people we see on the corner every day, with, you know, people in our private spaces. We have definitely like reconstructed and transformed the infrastructures in our lives, the things that we've always been afraid of. When COVID happened, we definitely challenged ourselves to re-innovate ourselves into a whole new society. And a lot of us chose to rebel, while a lot of us chose to conform. And that created different rifts and transformations in relationships and things of that nature. And it's just like a nice mirror of things. It's a very, very nice mirror of things. It's beautiful. And we know, you know, Fifth House is Leo energy, that confidence, that leadership energy, that authoritative energy. And a lot of us have been taking authority and leadership in the rebellion and transformation and reconstructing, like, you know, authority and things of that nature. So that's wonderful. Moving on, the true node. The true node is still in Gemini in the 10th house. The true node is the energy, well, it's actually like the path of the moon. But what the true node called us to do is to bring to light the energy that we may have an overabundance of or underabundance of, that we need to bring to an equilibrium in order to live life of fulfillment. And Gemini energy is also an air energy. It's all. So the true node is all calling us to find grounding in all levels, especially in those levels of Gemini. You know, Gemini is a Mercurian energy. Mercurian energy is about logic and decision making and communication and teaching and learning. It's also very versatile, flexible, that air energy. And haven't we been in that way? Multiple streams of income, multiple streams of knowledge and teaching and authoritative and stuff like that. But a lot of us are dealing with a strain because of it. Trying to balance all of those businesses you created on the fly, all those projects and things of that nature, trying to be an expert at everything at the same time. I saw a few different really cool and accurate memes like, dang, you gotta learn how to do Forex, invest in stocks, be a business owner, be a mother, vegan, have a blog, and a website all at the same time. And it's like, that's what a lot of us have come to because we felt like we needed to. That's what the Gemini energy had invoked in us, that desire for versatility and diversifying ourselves and being with the air and adapt. And we had to adapt to this new society and things of that nature. However, coming back down to an equilibrium. If you feel a strain, if you feel all those overbalanced emotions that Gemini energy causes us to feel, the nervousness, the anxiety, and so on and so forth, that's calling us to come back to a grounding sense and come back to ourselves. And when we do, that true node energy is sitting in the 10th house energy, which is the energy of the height of our success and our professional aspirations and achievements. So this bringing, coming to terms with our true node energy will bring us to a point of success as an individual. That's fun. Who doesn't like to be successful? And right now the true node is in retrograde, and the retrograde ends February 19th. Our ascendant, we had a bunch of little Virgo ascendant babies being born, and I'm so excited because my cousin is one of them. I have a little Virgo ascendant cousin. It's so fun. So the ascendant was in retrograde in Virgo in the first house. So the retrograde actually ends on February 4th. The ascendant will enter Virgo's second house on February 5th, and then the ascendant will enter Libra's second house on February 19th. So the ascendant energy is like your mask, what you give to the world, what you expect from the world, what's going on in the world. And right now we've really been directed in servitude. A lot of us have been, feeling compelled to give to one another, to support one another, to be of service and practical with one another, and finding that grounding, that alignment with another on different levels. I definitely see that in my reality. I hope that you guys are seeing that in your own. And then as we come into that grounding and organized and building and work force energy of Virgo, we come into that balanced fairness energy, that energy that Libra energy about justice. And we come from that leadership confidence energy of the first house and move into that coming back into that second house balance energy, but also the Taurus energy of wealth and value and abundance, right? That second house energy. So finding balance in that in our ascending house. Oh, that sounds very nice. Very, very nice. So finding a balance in your wealth. That's fine. Moving on to your midheaven. The midheaven house is like, the midheaven energy is like aspirations and achievements, just like being your best self, being successful, whatever success looks like for you. And right now it's in Gemini in the 10th house, so it's in alignment with the true node. So once you get the true node in order, you're definitely going to get your success and things in order. And that's true, right? Like, a lot of you guys, including myself, the to-do list is long, and it's time to chop that joint down. So we're going to work on chopping that joint down to the best of our abilities. And also still being versatile and flexible at the same token, also, you know, being grounded, especially in our communication. A lot of us like to learn a little bit about something and then automatically take on the role of being a professional or an expert level, and that's not realistic. And that's also what the true node in the midheaven is calling for us to do. And then eventually the midheaven went into the 11th house, and then we move into the purpose of our work and our humanitarian pursuits. So we come from being successful and wanting to reach aspirations and achievements, and come into, all right, how are we giving back with this? How, you know, being a philanthropist with this, and, you know, so on and so forth. And then on February 19th, we're in Cancer in the 11th house. And Cancer is all about your intuitive energy, right? All about creating nurturing spaces and tapping into that maternal energy. So definitely our healers are going to be coming out February 19th. A lot of healing is going to be had, a lot of nurturing is going to be had, and coming into that humanitarian energy. And that's what the midheaven is calling for us to do. And it's beautiful because the true node will be ending retrograde at the same time that the midheaven will be entering Cancer energy. Our Lilith. The Lilith is like your triggers, you know, the suppressed energy that you feel like society wouldn't be cool with if they seen that you was about that life. So the Lilith is a retrograde Taurus energy, that materialistic energy, all about pleasure seeking and stuff like that. So a lot of us have been suppressing what we really want to do and what we really like and what really makes us feel good and things like this. And that's been sitting in the 9th house. So Lilith has been in alliance with what? Uranus, as well as what did I say? Mars? Yeah, Uranus and Mars. So you're definitely going to find yourself being compelled to do that shadow work right now, and to, you know, be progressive in that Uranus energy that's causing you to seek new truth and be progressive and transform that Taurus energy that's about your pleasure seeking sensors, that lower level self, your root chakra energy, what feels good to you, what you like, and what that looks like and things like that, and your valuables and your wealth. And we see that as like on a monetary level as money changes, and a lot of us are like, dang, I'm about to start bartering, or man, fuck this money, we're about to start peacefully seizing land, and we're about to start doing things this way and that way. A lot of us are losing, you know, respect for that currency exchange, and looking more towards the energy exchange. And that's cool. That's very progressive. That's what that Uranus, Mars, and Lilith is causing. And a lot of us were suppressing that energy about us because society was like, nah, it's capitalist, it's classism, this is what, you know, this is how things go. And that's just one parallel. You can make whatever parallels you want to make, but with that progressive energy and that motivation and get you going, provocative energy of Mars, and this Lilith energy of triggers and aggression and sexual and power energy. It's awesome. So while Lilith is still in retrograde, it's going to go back to Aries in the 9th house January 26th, and then the retrograde ended January 28th, and then Lilith enters Taurus, goes back into Taurus, the 9th house February 2nd, which is tomorrow, and then Lilith enters the 10th house on February 8th. So we come from that 9th house energy of philosophy and perspectives, and expanding those said philosophies and perspectives into a foreign sense, and we move into success. So now doing the shadow work and tapping into what your pleasure seeking sensors and your materialism and that Venus energy and love and romance and stuff, that's going to bring you success when you move into that 10th house energy. That's going to bring aspirations and achievements, and tapping into, you know, that house. Chiron deals with your healing and your weaknesses and your strength and what that healing looks like. And we have that healing sitting in that aggressive, motivational energy of Aries. And that's also sitting in that 8th house energy of transformation, which is that Pluto house energy. So definitely find yourself motivated to make a lot of transformations going on. We have a lot of transformations going on, and it's beautiful and enjoyable. So exciting with all the Aquarius energy and the age of Aquarius, and going into the ox New Year and all that fun stuff. And the moon on January 19th, when we started off, Aquarius energy was in Aries in the 9th house, and that was the first quarter moon. Then we were in a waxing gibbous moon from January 20th to the 25th, from Taurus, Gemini to Cancer. Then we had the beautiful full moon January 28th in Leo, and moving into the Virgo. Well, we started off at 99% Cancer, so if y'all was feeling emotional and very energized in your emotional sense on the 27th, that's why it was a 99% full moon in Cancer. But then we were at 100 on the 28th in Leo, and then we winding it down in the winding gibbous moon in Virgo on the 30th. And today we're in the winding gibbous moon of Libra, so you find yourself finding balance today. And definitely wanting to focus on your one-on-one relationships and your wealth and valuables. As we know, Venus is ruled by Libra. And then on February 3rd, we move into our Scorpio moon, and that's the last quarter moon. So you're going to feel a little sexy in a couple of days. And then we go into our waning crescent moon, which will be in Sagittarius energy on February 5th. Capricorn energy, February 7th. Aquarius energy, February 9th. So February 9th, let's talk about it. We're going to have the sun, don't get me wrong, we're going to have the sun, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, and the moon, all aligned in Aquarius in the 6th house. February 9th. So February 9th is I wonder what's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen February 9th. That's gonna be a crazy energy. So moving on, the new moon is will be in Aquarius February 11th. The new moon is when the moon is between the sun and the earth. That is when you'll feel yourself wanting to close some projects, bring them off to the close, and open up some new journals. And that'll be still in Aquarius. So again, we'll be dealing with the waning crescent moon and the new moon in Aquarius in alliance with the sun, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn. All of that energy will be aligned February 9th to the 11th. So definitely tap into that Aquarius energy. See what's Aquarius in your chart. Or just tapping into the sun. Just praise the sun for being in that rebellious energy and go do some crazy something. Go do something. The first quarter moon will be in Gemini on February 19th. The waxing gibbous moon will be in Cancer on the 21st. So when you're feeling crazy and emotional in those chunk of days, the waxing crescent moon will be in Pisces on February 12th. So that'll be a beautiful time to tap into your Neptune healing, metaphysical energy, get some metaphysical work done on the 12th. It will be tapped into the Aries moon on February 14th. Oh, yes. I was telling y'all, Valentine's Day, Grand Rising. Yes. I'm feeling great. February 14th, Valentine's Day, the moon will be in Aries. So the moon will be a little aggressive on Valentine's Day. Y'all gonna have some rough sex, and that's gonna be great. The Mars is moving into the 10th house in Taurus, and we know Taurus is all about love and romance. So you're gonna be very motivated to be all up in that lovey-dovey energy, also in that materialistic energy on February 14th as well, as that'll be sitting up in your 10th house of success. And it was another energy we had moving on Valentine's Day, right? Oh, the sun moving into the 7th house of Libra energy of balance, but it'll still be in that rebellious Aquarius energy. So we have the sun moving into the balanced house, Mars moving into the house of success, and the moon moving into that aggressive energy of Aries on February 14th. So just giving you an idea of what Valentine's Day gonna look like for y'all finna be lit. I would go to a vending. The way that's aligned, Unica will go to a vending event on February 14th and perform, and then have some nice booty rubs after. And that sounds like February 14th is the perfect day to be there, according to what the stars say. Taurus. The moon will be in Taurus on February 16th. And then it'll be in first quarter Gemini on February 19th, and then waxing and giving you some Cancer. So you're going to be in your emotions towards the end of Aquarius season. So, and that's what energy is doing. We're going to have Ceres and Pisces in the 7th house in alliance with Neptune. We're going to have Pallas energy, which is your logic and your intellect in alliance. Oh, going back to Ceres. Ceres is like wisdom and luck. Pallas will be in alignment with the Sun and Mercury and the Moon and all those energies in Aquarius in the 6th house, and Pallas is your logic. Juno is in Sagittarius in the 4th house. Juno is that warrior-like energy. And Vesta is in Virgo in the 2nd house, and it'll be moving into the 1st house. And Vesta is also energy of fertility and get you James going, and it's in that building energy. And so that is the planetary forecast for Aquarius season. I'm going to go back to doing my daily forecast. What had happened was I started giving myself a time thing, and y'all know I'm terrible with times. So when I started giving myself time thing and I couldn't keep with the time, my Virgo energy was triggered, and it was like, dang, if I can't make it on the time, like, why am I even doing this? And I just fell into like a cycle of that, and that's what pulled me out of doing the daily. But on some G shit, my internal compass is like craving the daily forecast, because with the daily forecast, I wasn't like going over the full sun every day. What I was doing was I was talking about the degrees and latitudes that each planet was going into on a daily basis, so you can really be aligned for the day. And that was very aligning for me, because I would do it in the middle of the day. I didn't want to do it at the beginning, so I wasn't making everything about the stars. I don't want to fall into that pattern either. But it was cool to, do it towards the middle of the day. I really enjoyed that. So, with that being said, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't like giving out days and times. I love to just pop up when the energy says it's pop-up time. So that's probably what will happen with the daily forecast, but we definitely will be getting back into that, because that was a beautiful alignment for everyone, and everyone was really learning about how to read their natal charts and stuff like that, which was very intentional and beautiful, and I'm glad you guys were learning. If you guys want assistance with reading your natal charts, I do assist with reading natal charts. You can go on my website, lesnobodiescollection.com, and get a natal chart reading. I also do 3-card spreads if that's what you want as well. I also will align you with crystals. I do free crystal consultation if you want to get aligned with your natal chart and crystals that are necessary. And I also create organite and gemstone jewelry and I do custom orders. So if you get a crystal consultation and alignment with your natal chart and you want a custom order, you just put a down deposit down on what you need, and we'll get it done. And that's pretty much it. Make sure you guys go on the website to vote for your favorite healers, your favorite artists, your favorite business designers and wealth educators and things of that nature for the Cosmic Nobodies Convention. I'm very excited about that. And yeah, that's what we're doing. I'm about to get ready to make brunch. It's brunch time. We're gonna do bean burgers and potato wedges. So while this video uploads and I start editing it so we can put it on YouTube and you guys can rehash the parts that you guys missed, you guys can start cooking with me while I cook a vegan brunch in the kitchen for myself and my tribe, and we roll up together and listen to some great music and vibe, and we can do a little Q&A if you guys missed anything. No booty rubs? That's no fun. We can do a little Q&A if you guys missed some things or you guys want some deeper understanding while we do the cooking episode that I like to do when I cook sometimes. And that's what we're doing. So thank you guys for joining me for the Aquarius season planetary forecast. This was amazing and so aligned, and I'm so grateful. And I feel so aligned because I was just like rushing, like, dang, I gotta get it done, I gotta get it done. But I had so much to do. Like, yo, the Leo Virgo moon, I was on 1,000. I think 1,000 is an understatement. I was on a Google because like I just wanted to do everything and be everywhere. I just felt like so energized. Like I just wanted to just create and just like perform. I wanted to be on a stage for hours all weekend long. That's just how I felt on the outside. Like that full moon in Leo was beautiful, and then there was a wolf moon, which was beautiful because I was all about like coming together and just, you know, packing, and it was definitely aligned. I was at a number of events where I just felt like an alignment occurring and networking and things like that. So Let's Nobodies, as always, has new projects coming, because that's what happens when I go outside. And so definitely be on the lookout for that. If you're not already following me on Instagram, you need to do so, because that's where I post the majority of my things, if not on Facebook. And that's Sunshine Monet, Sunshine MONIE. Be aligned in my YouTube page, Let's Nobodies. I will be posting some videos from the events that I've done this weekend. And I'll be reposting this planetary forecast, and that's where we'll be broadcasting the planetary forecast. And that's what I have for y'all. So, oh yeah, St. Louis, the Cosmic Nobody Convention, August 26th to 29th, we will be in St. Louis, Missouri. So please make sure you guys go on the website and vote. And if you want to volunteer to be a vendor, a workshop worker, a performer, an artist, a model, whatever what have you, please go on and head over to that website. So I'm about to head out. I'm about to do some promo videos because it's marketing hour, and then I'm going to do the cooking episode. So you'll find me back on here live cooking with you guys and blasting some beautiful music. And then yeah, so that's what's happening. Bye guys. In live video.